and it's a little past 10 in California today. I am not in California. I'm in Denver, but I was trying to get started on Tuesday at 10, an hour late, but here I am. I want to talk about something that I'm calling my favorite color is coffee. So, this is episode 140 of Coffee with Pastor Joseph, and I'm drinking some coffee from my Storyville mug. No, wrong. I am drinking some Storyville coffee in one of my newest mugs, a mug that I haven't talked about yet. And that's what I'm actually here to talk about today. Back in episode 135, I chatted a bit about a lot about art. And so that particular episode, I had pre-edited it and worked a lot harder on that episode to try to tell a complete story because I wanted to enter it into a film festival. And so I have over here, you can see that it is actually entered into the Christian Worldview Film Festival, Coffee with Pastor Joseph, number 135. And so in March, we will be headed in there to see that. We'll be at the festival. Most years we are at the festival, but this year I have the coffee talk there, and Stacy is actually teaching a class, and Stacy and I are teaching a class together at some point, also at the film festival. This, I believe, is the 10th film festival that we've had, and so that's pretty exciting. So in making the episode 135 and talking about art, I was just reminded about how consistently God has placed art in my life as something that I really enjoy. So for instance, this verse right here, delight yourself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. One of the things that this verse has often meant to me is that God was the one who placed the desire for art in my life. He was the one who put that there. He consistently, because when I would come and surrender to him and say, Lord, whatever you want, that's what I want to do, God would continually leave art somewhere in the middle of who he called me to be. And what I learned very quickly was that there were, in no matter what arena I went into with art, there was always someone who was better at it than I was. But that wasn't the point. The point was that God was allowing me to use art to bring glory to him. And so I needed to just delight in it and be the best that I could be and keep learning and keep practicing excellence. And so I continued with art and have continued with art. And I just switched over to my chat messages over here so I can see you. Hey, Verl. I see Verl and Elena are both here. One from Holland, one from Ohio. So that's awesome. So I wanted to share, because I called this episode My Favorite Color is Coffee. And, I have always loved colors. And if you remember episode 135, I had this box of crayons, and I was smelling crayons. And I still absolutely love the smell of crayons. I also like the smell of coffee. And so between the two things, those are delightful things. I actually like the smell of a lot of things, by the way. God designed us to really appreciate his creation. But I've always had trouble when people would say, what is your favorite color? When I was much younger, I would sometimes choose brown as being my favorite color. And then pretty soon, this color green kind of settled in and pretty much became my favorite color. And then what I discovered was that some colors just looked really good together. And I loved some colors together more than I loved either one of them separately. So like this is, this is the violet that's in here. So like putting purple and green next to each other, I learned that there is just something in there. That God does that with flowers, where there'll be like green plant and then a purple flower on it. And that's pretty cool. And so I've always had trouble. Here's the blue violet. I've always had trouble choosing what is my favorite color. Like if I had to choose, and so well, it just depends what we're doing. Like sometimes, there's just every color has a reason for existing. God created all the colors for a reason, and I personally am so delighted when something like an orange is the color that we call it. It's orange, and it's an orange, and which came first, the color or the fruit? And so if you look around at different languages and see, did they call it the color, or did they have another name for it? And yeah, so it's fascinating, these kind of things. So I love color. Well, earlier this year, as we were running into a problem. We had painted a lot of pictures. You saw some of them back in episode 135, and I like putting them on the walls in our house. And so right here I have 3 from a different artist up here, but up here in front of me I actually have 2 of my paintings up there right now. And upstairs we have several paintings, mine, my son's, my wife's. Every room in our house has some painting in it or other from one of us, is what it seems like. I was going to say except for the bathroom, but even the bathroom has paintings in it that we have done. And so everywhere I go, I have my paintings, and we're running out of wall space. And so at Christmas, I gave 3 of my paintings away as gifts, and that was fun. I gave 3 paintings away, but we were just discussing, what do we do? We've got so many of these. And so Stacy was like, well, why don't you sell them? And I said, I don't know how to sell a painting. Like, I have sold paintings before, actually quite a few, back 12, 15 years ago. Sometimes people would specifically ask me and say, I would like something in these colors, and I would something with this subject matter, or, and I would paint something. Or in one instance, I was just literally painting buildings as the new branch offices were being opened of a bank. I was just painting bank buildings on a canvas for the new bank president. And so I would do different things. And so I knew that I had sold paintings in the past, so that was possible. But with the thought of, well, how do I sell my art? Well, I don't know how to sell art. So I started looking at just online, seeing what other people were selling. And I saw a lot of things, and I realized that most of the time when people sell art, they have their way of making art, and somebody somewhere likes that and puts it in their house or in their building, in their office or someplace. So here's Peter. Hi, Peter.
So I have an exciting preview that right now, today, I'm making Coffee Talk 150.
Because
stop motion.
We're 5 episodes away. No, we're not. We're 10 episodes away from episode 150. So you're making right now the celebration for when they get to 150?
Yes, right now.
So that could be 10 weeks from now. You have lots of time. How epic will it be?
I'm needing to add in some special effects and other stuff.
Okay.
Besides, it's going to be different. It's probably going to be longer than the old one.
Yeah. Well, the other one was when we hit 100, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we did you made a stop motion.
That one was more like a concert. This one's more like a newsroom.
Okay. So this is part of what you're making, some of the background. Okay, cool.
So, got a lot of stuff to do.
All right. So, here we are, and I'm talking about how to price my art. That's what I'm doing, and honestly, when you're painting something, there's multiple ways of painting something. Sometimes I'm painting this for that person, and therefore I'm going to do it this way. If I'm making a gift for someone, I think about them while I'm painting it, and that helps me just in the process. I'm making it for them. Sometimes I'm just painting because of my own joy and my own fun, and I'm loving it, and so I'm experimenting and trying new things. There are some times when the idea of taking a painting and putting a price on it and putting it out there feels a little bit too much like selling a child or something. I'm like, what? Why does it feel this way? And it's because of the creative process that's behind it. I often will feel the same thing with a story that we want to turn into a film. Is I will feel like I hate talking to people about it and having to put numbers on it because this is precious to me. And so, if you think about our most recent movie, We Three Kings, and you think about those children that were in there, and we had I just remember the days that I was laboring over the script. And so like Amy becomes a friend of mine in my own head and heart space. And suddenly it's time to talk about Amy. And then we have to choose a little girl to play Amy. And then we have to decide a lot of things about Amy. And so you take those things that were so private here and you have to like bring them out here now, and suddenly it's real, and you have to discuss, can this actress actually use these lines? Do we need to change them? And it becomes very it's out here, it becomes very practical. So that's the way I sometimes feel about art, is like it's very close to my heart, so I don't like to talk about it too much. Well, I was just looking around a bit, and so people said, when you sell art, you need to, have your prices of art at different price points. You have to have different pieces, and then it's good to have something where it's cheaper, something, more like somewhere between $10 and $20, $50, somewhere in there, So what do? Well, what you do is you do like this, where you take a piece of your artwork and you put it on a mug, and you make it where people can buy a mug with your artwork on it. Well, as I started thinking about that, I was sitting here one day and I suddenly had this idea. See, I have here, this is the mug that my boys gave me, and when I made episode 135, I had these crayons here. For the longest time, this box of crayons was just sitting in this mug right here by my computer. And so I would come down every time and I would see the mugs, I'd see the crayon, I see the mug, see the crayon, and I'd be thinking about it, and I just had this idea. I could make something like this. So I did. I made a design, and it's on my shirt right now. My favorite color is coffee. And it came because I had a mug with crayons in it, and I kept thinking about crayons and how much I like how they smell, and coffee and how much I like how it tastes and smells. And so I made this design. My favorite color is coffee. Put it on a t-shirt, and also you can buy it on mugs and things. And so I actually today am introducing that I have it over here. Let's I put another website together that actually has a bunch of my paintings and stuff on it. So this is jjgraber.com, and I have some paintings here. I have some mugs. So this is an 11-ounce mug, a 15-ounce mug. Here's just a big t-shirt. Well, I mean, you can choose your size. I guess you can get a small one. Then I have the other, this is the ladies t-shirt with the same, my favorite color is coffee on it. The mug, the Pointum North mug, and then here's the actual painting. And so anyway, I have these items up on my website. It's jjgraber.com. It's in the description. It's in the description of today's Coffee Talk. So that's what I've been working on, is a way to put some of my art out there. But knowing that not everybody can order a piece of art and put it on the wall, I made some smaller bits of it. And so this is the Pointum North mug. And so actually when I printed out this t-shirt and this mug, that part of the process, I was learning how bright do the colors need to be to show up on the black. And so I made some adjustments to the products that are actually out there, the ones that are on the website. And right now, there's also, when I first had the idea, I went over to Etsy and opened a shop on Etsy just to see what would it take to do this on Etsy. So the problem that I ran into with Etsy was that with this process, it was going to cost me a lot more to sell things on Etsy than to sell things on our own store. And so right now, things are generally cheaper on our store than they are over there. But over there on Etsy, everything's free shipping over there, so you pay more for it. On our website, on jjgraber.com, it's if you order for, I need to look at it and make sure I get this right, but it's if you order more than $30 worth of something, then it's free shipping. Under $30 is that it charges you $5. Now that's in the United States, and then I added Canada as an option. And then I still have to work through the process of what shipping is going to be to go to any other outside of the United States or Canada. And so I'm working on it. I don't have all the details yet, but I do have a complete website. I do have art up there. I do have other options besides art up there. And I have a shirt that says my favorite color is coffee. So I've been having a lot of fun with this, and I was really looking forward to actually share this. And what's funny about it is I have no idea how many other people would be like, oh yeah, my favorite color is coffee too, and they want to buy it. I have no idea, but I loved making it. I love the fact that I have one myself, and I haven't gotten my favorite color is coffee mug yet, because what I was doing was I would put a design out there, and then I order one and double check it and make sure what's happening with it. So now, after I made the adjustments for color, because I designed them over here on my art pad over here, and so I needed to know what colors, how do they show up when they print. And so this was a good way for me to learn what happens to a design when I put it on a shirt, what happens to a design when I put it on a mug. So that's what's happening right now, is I have these, and then what I am able to do is, for shipping internationally, sometimes sending a 16 by 20 canvas becomes just impossible. And well, not impossible, just very expensive. And so I've decided that what I can do is, there are these smaller paintings. So for instance, there's one over on the website. If you go to the home page, and where do I have to click here? Display capture. There we go. Right here, I'm painting a smaller paint. This is an 8 by 10 on a canvas. And so the thing with an 8 by 10, that's much smaller. You can see the size that is compared to this coffee cup. Well, the thing with that is I can actually, that's much easier to ship anywhere in the world. So I've been looking at that, the idea that I can take smaller canvases and put some things on there and make those available to ship internationally. So I'm still working on the international details, but they'll be coming around, and I'll probably talk more about it later, just because it kind of happened all because of Coffee with Pastor Joseph. So that's what's happening in my world, is that I decided to share some of my art and make more room on our walls. So the second thing that's happening with that is, then my boys were like, so Papa, you're selling your art. And so they're eyeing their paintings up on the wall, and they're saying, do you think I could sell that one? And some of the ones that they have, I really think they could sell. So we're having to work through that process. Basically, what to price their art at, what commission the website gets for doing it, all of that stuff. So they're going to be learning business while learning art, and we'll see how that goes. And so, anyhow, it's what I need from anyone that goes on the website or uses the website. If there are issues in ordering or all of that stuff, I just need to know about them, because I need to fix things if there's a problem. So if there's problems, if anyone tries to order something and there's a problem, let me know. I have a bunch of the things, like the t-shirts and the mugs and things. I'm having to use a third-party service because I don't know what people want. So I'm not going to go buy a couple hundred mugs and store them in my house. So it's a print-on-demand type thing. So that's how it's set up. So anyway, I just wanted to share today that that's what's happening, that my Coffee with Pastor Joseph number 135 is over at the Christian Worldview Film Festival, and I've got a bunch of pictures and paintings and other things that I love the process now that I have I loved it before, but I love it now that I have my own sons painting with me. So much fun. And so we're just going to continue doing that, and I put it out there so that if anybody is looking for art to decorate their house or put somewhere, or they need another coffee mug with a cool design on it, I have some, and they might want them. And going back to that verse that I shared earlier, for years it would be like, God gives me the desires of my heart. So I think, what do I want the most? And I think, oh, God's going to give me that. And then I realize there's a deeper meaning to that verse. It's not just that God is saying, oh, what do you want? So Timothy, I see what you're saying there. The actual, I think, but I'm not sure, that my supplier for the mugs and things, I think those actually go out to like different people in different parts of the world, because there's printers all around the world. And I think depending on where the order comes from, changes who prints it and ships it. I'm not positive on that, but that was what I thought was happening. So if you do order one, we'll find out. So yeah, and technically my design, the words, my favorite color is coffee. You can't really copyright those words. I went and looked, and how it works, it's not, I can copyright my design. So my design is technically copyrighted because I made it, and it says on there copyrighted by Joseph J. Graber. But all the words are not copyrighted. You can make other stuff with it. That's what I discovered in my discussion of things. Now that's copyright law in America. I don't know how it goes in other countries. So, but I think it goes to whichever country something's being shipped to. I don't know for sure. So I don't even know my website. I know Etsy might work better, but so my shop on Etsy is just JJ Graber. It's over on Etsy. It has some of the same things. I tried a few different things over there, but it's just more expensive over there because of the profit margin. So all that aside, I wanted to go back to talk about Psalm 37, verse 4, where it says, "Delight yourself also in the Lord. He shall give you the desires of your heart." And how for a very long time I'd read that verse in a self-affirming sort of way, where I'd think, God wants to give me stuff. And then eventually I started realizing that really what's happening more than that is that when I come and submit myself to God, He is placing in me the things that He wants to do through me. Also, if you read and you understand that I was formed by God in the womb. Like He made me before I knew who I was. He knew me. And so there's this really neat concept within Christianity that explains that the things that are in me are not just an accident. God made me this way on purpose for His purpose. And so when He gives me the desires of my heart, that brings me then, whenever I'm feeling something, I'm like, I'd like to do this or I'd like to do that. And then I come over to the very thing of doing it, and I'm wanting to pray about it. One of the ways I can pray about it is that, Lord, I believe that you placed this desire in my heart. I think you gave me this. And so, Father, I need you to show me how to move forward with it. But if it's not from you, Lord, then I need you to take it away. Remove the desire from my heart. And I've prayed this prayer so many times for different things. And so there are some things that just continually God put back into my life. Chalk art, when I was doing the chalk art ministry, it just kept coming back. Film kept coming back. And so it's amazing when you have a desire in your heart and you think, I think this is from God. I'm not sure. I'll just go straight to Him and say, Lord, you are God. You are my Father. I've submitted my life to you. I keep finding this desire in my heart. If this desire is not from you, please remove it. If it is from you, show me the path forward. And that's an exciting adventure. So that's what I wanted to share about today. Was just I decided to take a bit of my private life and make it more public with my art. And it is, you have to hit a certain level of vulnerability if you're willing to share your art. It always is the case, and I always keep that in mind when someone, a parent will tell me, "Oh, my daughter loves doing art." And they'll be like, "Show me your art." And I realize what she's going through right then. Does she want to expose her art to me? And so it makes me a more gentler person to look at someone's art. But I love doing it, and I so appreciate it when people share their art with me, because I know what it means. I know the vulnerability that it takes to share these things with each other. All right. Well, that was what I wanted to share today. And if I end a little bit early today, it will help make up for all those times I run overtime, right? Hopefully. Okay. It is cold here in Colorado. We have had several days of single-digit temperatures, and snow has been on the ground since before Christmas, more or less. And it's a great time for drinking coffee and working inside. So I'm glad that I have lots of work to do inside where it's warm. And I will keep you guys updated. We'll see. I just enjoyed getting to make my own mugs and having my own. So hopefully one of these days I will get my other mug, and I'll show you the one where the coffee with no. My favorite color is coffee, that mug. All right. Well, blessings. Thank you all for joining me today. And remember that if the Lord has put it in you, then he can lead you to that. But if you're not sure, then just ask him. Ask him to either take it away or show you the way forward. I'll see you next week. Blessings.